Okay, we're live, Matt.
All right.
Welcome everyone to Ben's Business Podcast, episode number 99. Almost there, almost at 100. So I made a bit of a Ben's Business Podcast return last week, Matt. And this is like the second episode since I've made a bit of a return. So today, what we're going to be talking about, I'll introduce Matt to you first. And we're just going to continue a chat that we were having about books, our visions for the future, and what we are both trying to do as leaders and as people with a large following of people who are interested in self-development and books. So that's what a lot of people follow me for, Ben's Business Book Club, and a lot of people follow Matt for as well. So Matt is someone I've been chatting with and following for a long time. We've had a lot of really interesting discussions just about books, about personal development, and how our process of personal development and our journey of how we learn and how we retain information. We're both very interested in this side of education and a sort of new system, a new way to learn and educate ourselves, not just through school, college, university, but like after school, after work, and developing ourselves in that way. So Matt is the founder of BookMattic. I'll just bring up his website here while we're introducing him. So this is a website here. Can you see that, Matt?
I cannot see it. No.
You can't see it.
Oh, now I can see it.
Okay, yeah. So here's the website, and Matt's been building a decent following on Instagram. How many followers do you have now?
Right now it's 16,800.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. I've watched Matt go from about 1,000 followers up to 16,000 followers. And I think I base that down to your decision to just niche down onto books and talk only about this area of personal development books and self-help books and nonfiction books specifically. It's an area I think you've done well to tap into and stick to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, niching down, like really tight knit, not just about books themselves, because I could read the book, I could post the review. I also, basically BookMattic is all about helping you to get the most out of books. So I post quite a bit about reading tips and strategies about how to take notes, about how to compare two different books, about basically anything to do with reading, because I realized that this is kind of a problem that needs to be solved. Like in school, they don't really teach you how to read deeply. You kind of have to discover that for yourself. And through the past 5 years of reading, I've discovered what it is to truly read a book, to truly get the most out of it. So that's basically my goal with BookMattic, is to help people reach the next level through reading the books, putting it into a plan, taking action, and then continuing the process. I call all my followers the lifelong learners, the BookMattic lifelong learners, because this is a lifelong learning process, we never stop learning until the day we die. So that is what I am so pumped up about.
Yeah. And another thing I've watched as I've observed you and from afar, from Scotland to Indonesia.
Yeah, and
I almost got that wrong. I kept on saying Thailand the last time. But yeah, like one of the ways I've seen Matt grow as well that I think is quite impressive is just your ability to your growth in speaking, your confidence on camera. Obviously the following from 1,000 up to 16,000, and just that laser focus on this niche, or on this one topic. And I think that I've really seen that being a large part of your sort of online success and the following that you're getting, the engagement, the number of views on videos and interaction on your posts, because they know what they're getting. And I really think that's an important lesson to share about what Matt's done. So Matt, could you give like a sort of 1 minute pitch of who you are and what you do, just so people know who Matt Hutson is?
Yeah, so like I was saying just a little bit ago, with BookMattic, like the total goal is to help you get the most out of what you read. And basically, I'm teaching you the strategies that I've applied in my own life. Originally it didn't really start out like that. I've had to learn the process myself, and I'm giving it to you basically through the posts that I do on Instagram, through the online course that will be up later this month. That's like, I don't know, I want people to get the most out of what they read. So that's what I'm all about. My life is all about books outside of my family, outside of my friends. Like, that is what my personal focus is on. And I believe that it will really change the world too. People like develop themselves. If people take what they read and then put it into action, that's really going to make a huge difference. If we build up the systems, right?
Yep.
Whatever system it may be, education system,
Yep.
The business models, like any sort of system that you think of, you can be a strong system, one that's fair and equal to everyone, and very inclusive system. So I know that's over a minute, but there's so much more. There's so much more.
Yeah.
I cannot sum it up, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's the passion behind everything that you're doing as well, and I think it shows how passionate you are for books and people educating themselves, and the benefits you've experienced through the process you've learned from A to B, and B being where you are today. And I think we started personal development around the same time. If you're saying 5-6 years ago, that was around the same time as me. I think I'm into my 6th year of personal development, and I'm a changed man. Like I'm nothing like the person I was at the first step, and I can see the same in you. So I think that's so important when anyone that watches or listens to this, just seeing it in myself, but what backs that up is seeing it in others. Thank you. Got a lollipop from my daughter. So it's just this. It's a way of speeding up the process of developing yourself as a human. I think it's like it's a cheat. It's a fast route to becoming the best version of yourself, or to grow and be everything you possibly can, and have this knowledge as a shortcut to life. Not before, but during implement and taking action, feeding yourself with constant knowledge and information and ideas is just such a shortcut to life. And I've seen that in myself. I've seen that in Matt. Thanks for joining, Dylan and Simon. We've got here. If you do, anyone that's watching live, do post any comments if you've got any questions for myself or Matt.
And no question. I want to touch on a point you were mentioning earlier, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So you were mentioning about how you started about 5 years ago, right? And same with me, about 5 years ago. And when I first started reading in 2015, I did not have any guide basically. And during our conversation a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how basically when you read a book for the first time, you get like this major high, like this self-development high. And as you read more nonfiction books, your high kind of like increases. It's kind of like a runner's high for readers, right? Um, but once you get to a certain level, you kind of have to start applying some of that knowledge. So I don't know. Do you remember what we were talking about back then, Ben?
Yeah,
During our
that's quite
previous call?
interesting. Yeah, it's like we get mature. It's like you become quite mature when you go through enough books, and we both got to a point where we're not just about the consumption of the books now. It's about reading the right books, because you can see how much time a book can take up when you're reading it. So picking the right books rather than just any book, and learning a lesson, because once you go almost full circle of reading books, you start to see regurgitated information round and round. Any workshop, anyone you keep learning from. So if you, going back to my dad's CDs, he used to give me audiobooks that I listened to Jim Rohn, and there's so much regurgitated information from that these days, regurgitated from his mentor and his mentor's mentor. So there's a lot of repeated information going around, and you have to be at that stage when you've heard it all or heard a lot. You want to be a wee bit more picky, because you're no longer getting these brand new ideas left, right, and center when you go through a book. You're hearing the same thing in a different way of saying it, and many times. There's very, very rarely now I'm coming up across, or because of Ben's Business Book Club and great recommendations from mentors and people specific to my needs, I'm finding that buzz that you get from the new ideas still. But there was a stage, and that's the reason I set up Ben's Business Book Club. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know what Ben's Business Book Club is, it's a Facebook group and community I created on Facebook groups. Search for it on Ben's Business Book Club to find it. There's about 1,400 members. It was just an idea a long time ago, and I decided I was frustrated with like reading really good book recommendations on Amazon, getting even bad recommendations from other people, and I wanted to like take these well-marketed books and put them through the test of real feedback from real people, not just Amazon reviews, because I know that there's ways to get fake Amazon reviews, or to give their book away for free in exchange for a review on their Amazon page. So to really go, there was something Ty Lopez said, there's about 100 books that you're able to learn in your lifetime, and not just read, but study. There's about 100 books you can study in your lifetime deeply. And if you want to pick those 100 books wisely, because if that's the only books you're ever going to go deep with, then they better be good. And this is what the creation of Ben's Business Book Club was for, so that I could go, is this book any good? And just put up there, ask people to recommend books, and just test these books and put them through a sort of an extra filter instead of just the Amazon reviews, so that I'm always getting that buzz that Matt's talking about, and learning, really feeling like I'm having new experiences. Like when for example, I go for a run or a jog, and I take a new route that I've never been down before, and there's a great view. It's those novel experiences that give you those epiphany moments. And that's what you get when you're running. That's what you get when you've stretched yourself to the next level, or when you learn something brand new that just has your mind kind of blowing, and epiphany moment. So I'm always seeking for that in books and life and experience. So this is the motivator. If we can keep having books that keep giving us that epiphany moment, that gives us the endorphins and gives us the motivation to keep reading and self-educating, we'll keep going. But if we come across a few bad books, book after book, your motivation's dropped. So if you are feeling like that, I recommend putting the book down and moving on to another one, and trying a book completely different from the book you're reading, because you should never be struggling through a book. There's always a good book out there for each individual person. Even if you've read 100 self-help books, there's so many good books out there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Completely agree there.
Yeah. So like that was kind of off tangent of what we were actually talking about, but the idea of ideas, the buzz, and excitement for enjoyment for reading. But when you mature as a reader, you're not as naive to just jump into any book and expect the same every time. You start to get a wee bit more picky and wise and judge a book based on more information and feedback. And they don't impress you as easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Ben. Like, yeah, it's basically just reading a book for the first time is very exciting. But
Yeah.
yeah, you summarize it very well. I don't really have too much more to say about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And going back to what you were talking about with structures on, like we were talking in our conversation, and this is what, like, we had a really interesting conversation, and this is what was the creation of us coming on to Facebook Live to share that, the key ideas that we came up with. And I was just asking Matt about his vision and what he's doing with BookMattic, which is the whole thing with the course on how to read a book, on how to self-educate, the Instagram following 16,000 followers, and everything, like the blog and everything else that you're doing. And I had my structures in place on the bigger goal of for me enlightening the world, helping millions of people live a good life, which I define as health, wealth, love, happiness, and consciousness and spirituality. So if I can help the ways that I'm helping people achieve that, because these are big sort of out there goals that we both have, quite similar. For me, achieving that, I didn't actually realize I had a system in place until I spoke to Matt. Matt said these structures or systems that you had, such as Instagram, just publishing on Instagram, publishing on blogs, creating courses, and putting out value and information for free out there. His ultimate mission, he would do that for free anyway. He's finding a way to be paid for that, but he was doing that for free for a long time, just like me with the Ben's Business Book Club and everything that I share on social media. I do that for free because it's a lifetime vision and goal of how you want to affect and put a dent in the world before you go. So for me to enlighten the world, which is a big bold statement, is I've set up some libraries across Scotland. So the Human Kindness Library. I had some people donate books and payments to me for buying books, specific books that are in my top reading list. So I've read hundreds of books, let's say, by this time. And I've taken the best books in that category of health, wealth, love, happiness, spirituality, and I've put those into the bookshelf for that library. And I've got rid of all the other dross, the other books that are not that good. They've not got into that bookshelf. So I've put these Human Kindness libraries into North Berwick. I'm going to set one up in Dunfermline in Scotland, and I want to put one in Edinburgh and Glasgow and all across the world eventually. And I've seen other people doing very similar ideas. And I've actually implemented and got this library set up in North Berwick, and people are using it, which is great to see. So I'm helping people help themselves, because self-help is only useful if you help yourself and go and pick up the book and read it. So that's the whole idea of these libraries. And then I've got the Sunrise Book Club, which is a structure to help people when they help people build a good habit of reading. The point of reading, as Matt and I both agree with, is that it changes your life. And that's the feedback I get from Sunrise Book Club as well, that the structure of just reading self-help books, non-fiction books every day has literally changed their life. 15 minutes a day at minimum. And what people do in that structure is, and how it helps them stay accountable, is there's a group of about 7 people in a group, or a WhatsApp group. There's financial commitment as well as public commitment. So everyone's checking to see if you uploaded your book review. So you read the book for 50 minutes, then you upload a 50-minute a 1 minute video of you explaining what you read this morning. And that's to be uploaded before 9 a.m. so that people are doing this before they go to work, before they have an excuse not to read. So we're kind of getting that done early, an early win after getting out of bed. And like, I go out for a walk with my dog and listen to audiobooks. And this was just a habit I built for myself. So I actually create most of the structures I've created that's affecting and benefiting other people were originally created for me. So Ben's Business Book Club was originally created for me. A need that I had to surround myself with a community of people I could have conversations with about books, and to discuss business and to support each other. So I created these for me. And what ultimately happened is it did benefit me, but it's now benefiting other people. And Sunrise Book Club's now like my morning routine that I was trying to build, but I needed a community to hold me accountable, and I had a financial £10 fine if I missed the book upload after 9 a.m. All of this helps me stay committed and disciplined to this goal that matters to me. And my creativity on how important, so the goal was so important that my creativity kicked in and thought, how can I make sure that I stick to this goal? And it was obvious to bring a community around me to read together. It didn't matter about us reading the same books, but that we were all reading and we were sharing. And what you actually get from other people sharing in a community with the lessons they learn, like me and Matt have conversations every so often and share our knowledge, and we learn different things that our blind spot things that we haven't picked up in the same book or different books that we've read. And it's great to surround yourself with other readers, because readers tell you everything. Readers like to share. And when we're all sharing in a community, you're learning left, right, and center. So that's what's good about community and reading together, even if you're reading different books. So all of that is really helping me support with like my habit that I want to build, but it's actually supporting this bigger vision of enlightening the world, because I believe if we're learning about how to have better relationships, and we're reading about our health, and we're eating better food, and we're self-educating ourselves on how to grow our business, and we have more sort of financial security, everything becomes easier, everything becomes better. Spiritual enlightenment, like people treating each other better, treating ourselves better, and all of this is raising the consciousness of the world. So in that, I'm serving myself, but I'm serving the bigger vision for people and the world that I feel like was my purpose, like what I was put on earth for. And this is just the start. This is like Sunrise Book Club, Human Kindness Library. Matt's got his Instagram and his blog and his reading course. So we're together collectively, Matt, myself, and others that are also on par with us, with aligned with what we're doing. Collectively, we're raising the consciousness, or we're achieving that bigger goal together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So on my side, it's quite similar to Ben, right? I want people to reach their higher level of spirituality, finance. But just to be honest, like I felt kind of cheated in the when I was growing up in the school system, and I think maybe a lot of people might feel something similar. Maybe I was, quite labeled as a child that could not focus, child with like ADHD. And as you know, the school system that's set up right now kind of creates employees, or at least that's what they teach you to do. So this is something that I personally like. My original thought with BookMattic is, well, if the school system is not going to teach me how to live properly, live well, to handle my money well, then why don't I go learn about it myself? So that's like one of the original purposes of starting BookMattic. And so I've been building it up step by step. And one analogy that I would like to give you is the branches of a tree, right? So we have the trunk, we have the home base. So like right now, my home base is bookmattic.com. this is where I have all my services, all my all my services, all the blog posts, and everything like that is on the website. Then there's another branch of the tree like Instagram or Facebook pages or YouTube. Basically, any other social media platform is another branch of the tree. So what I want to do is build up all these different branches of the tree so that I can help people read efficiently so they can do all the things that the school did not originally teach them. And maybe eventually I would also like to build up a system in the education system. Maybe I could have contacts in the education system to be able to create a curriculum that people can use in their classrooms to be able to use books, like all these different types of books, maybe specifically catered for younger kids, to be able to learn these different types of skills. And, maybe that's a little bit difficult because I do believe that on a developmental level, sometimes our brains are harder to handle more difficult information at a very young age. But maybe a high schooler age, they could handle this type of stuff because, they're very well developed. So, that's a future goal that I'm going towards personally. But right now, I just build it step by step. So once I get a hold of all the online course stuff, I can build up some on top of that. It's basically, I'm trying to build up an empire to help people, basically get the most out of reading so that they can be financially smart, build up their own business if they want to, or become the best employee that they want to become.
Yeah.
So, that is, and what Ben said earlier, we've got so many other people out there doing great stuff with personal development. I can think of a few on Instagram that I personally follow, like Get Better with Books, Book Thinkers, myself, BookMattic, right? And there's several other people out there doing many great things. So if we all team up together, if we all, maybe not necessarily team up together, but we together, strong community of people, maybe even meet in person sometime, or create a system of our own, right? Then we can really make a huge impact on globally,
Yeah. No, you're spot on. That's if we all find our clarity over our purpose, our life's purpose, and we work towards that all together, we all make the world a better place. Because we're not focused on other people or competing against other people. We're focused on this vision of a better world, whatever it is. Usually when you come from like the sort of from love, from your soul, from the higher, from the whispers, the insights that you get, these just genius ideas that come to you, and people tend to resist them at first. They go, oh, that's too big. That's like, it's too bold, or because your brother, your sister, your mum, your dad told you it was too big. People shrivel back down into their small reality, their world that they can see now, that, oh, that's not possible. But if we hold that vision in our heads and really get to a point where we believe it's real, like I'm at a point where I believe everything that comes into my insight in my mind, that I can make that real. I'm at a point where I really believe in things that come to my mind from a genius can become reality. And I want everyone else to get to that stage as well, that to take your ideas seriously, to go after it. Because if we're all, like you're saying, we don't have to collaborate, but we can, but we definitely don't need to compete. If we all just go after this like greater vision that we have for a better life for ourselves, our family, for the world, and do it from love, from the heart, from that passion, the world just becomes a better place when everyone does that, because we're all focused kind of on our own thing. We're not now like, there's no different countries, like there's no separateness. We're kind of all like, yeah, like trying to help each other in a way, because we're not really bothered about what the next door neighbor's doing, because we're so focused and like passionate about this thing that we believe is going to happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree with you that collaboration's good as well.
What's that?
Collaboration is good as well. This is what Matt and I are doing right now. We're collaborating. We're not competing. I think we actually had a discussion about that, or maybe we didn't. But like, there's times in my head that I do feel that competitiveness. That Matt's created a course on how to read a book. This is something that I might have done. Like, it's an idea that I thought of as well. I read a book on how to read a book, and I thought that would be a good idea to create that. But if we come from like the higher, from love, then what's better is Matt's actually went and created that for me. Matt's went and done that for me. Now we're moving this vision that we're both aligned with together. So there's like, we all have our own roles, and Matt's went and created that course, and that's great. That's like, people are going to take that course and their life's going to change for the better as well. So it's coming from that place and thinking like that I think like I'll make more progress if I think like that, rather than from how I thought 5 to 10 years ago. I wasn't getting very far.
Yeah, we have to come from less of a place of ego, right? And kind of start to think more about the people around us, because we could easily
abundance.
We could easily get jealous or get like defensive. But if you think about it the opposite way and be like, yes, this person is creating something of value. Well, I can also create something of value, even if it's like something very similar. I can create that, and we both help each other out, because the more you help each other out, the more the world will become a better place, right? Like, you could also, so a business without collaboration, or a person without a strong network, it makes it very, very difficult to build up a trusted brand, build up trust in other people. But if you have like strong collaboration with others, like you and I right now, making this video, doing this live, we are collaborating. Even though we have something that we're working towards that is very similar, we're helping each other out, right? So I think that if people have more of this mindset, then build up your network of people and help each other out. That way you can become better. If you're sitting there in your ego and you don't go anywhere, and you think that you're all the best and you're all that, and that, you're going to be stuck, so help each other out.
I've wrote a small list. I don't know if you can add to that list, Matt, but there's a scarcity mindset, and then there's abundant mindset. Scarcity is what you're talking about, the ego. Abundance from the genius, from love. So can you add anything else to the scarcity mindset that you can see?
Let's see.
I've added fear, competition, hate.
Maybe jealousy.
Yeah.
What else? I guess anger too.
Yeah, that came to my mind. Yeah. So like, just like, people will get the idea now. Can you think of anything with abundance mindset? I've wrote down share, give, collaborate, synergy, partnerships.
So share, give, collaborate, synergy. Give. Oh, sorry, you already have give. Okay. Wow, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's so like, people will get the idea of this itself, but if you think about that, and if you ever have those feelings of sort of greed, fear, competition, hate, jealousy, anger, just realize that you're actually in this sort of old scarcity feeling from the very limited mind in your body, whereas abundance mindsets, like when you have that, oh yeah, there's the one there. So like love,
Yeah.
kindness. So when you have love, kindness, you want to share, give, work with people, collaborate in teams, and create synergy where everyone's involved in democracy, let's say partnerships where you're sharing ideas and you're actually getting further as a team with people. Like, it's just recognize that scarcity mindset and get rid of it. Because if we all move into this sort of more abundant mindset where your idea might get stolen, but you can come up with $1,000 ideas in a minute. So like, just like learn to give a wee bit and learn to let go of holding tight-fisted onto your money, onto your ideas, onto your stuff, your materials. Like, just open your hands and be a wee bit more free. When you notice those feelings on the left of the scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're breaking up a wee bit, Matt. Sorry, you're breaking up. Yeah, you've come back a wee bit.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, the connection here, a bit unstable. So, but anyway, one thing that might help you out if you're having problems with that is, as Ben was saying, it comes from that fear, that anxiety, that anger, that jealousy. It all comes from the basic instincts, our reptilian brain, right? So one way to counteract that is by putting yourself in the present moment. If you've ever read The Power of Now or The Four Agreements, both of those books can really center you and help you to get rid of that feeling of anger, get rid of that feeling of jealousy. So those are two great books to help center yourself and put yourself in the present moment.
Yeah. Yeah, the ideas on the left that definitely come from, there's like the reptilian brain and the monkey brain. And when you're in control of that, you don't make progress towards goals or visions. You just kind of stay the same and live the same life. But when you move into that more entrepreneurial, big thinking, like the thoughts that scare you, kind of bold thought mind, and move forward with them, that's when you start to actually make progress. So you've got this old reptilian monkey brain kind of pulling you back, and we've got to continuously fight that. And one of the best ways, I agree, is to live in the present moment, meditation and stillness, and just being quiet in the mind, so that you're kind of, you can hear those insights and the whispers and the creative mind, let that come in and act from there. Which reminds me of a discussion I had just last week with Ali. The other thing is, there's a comment here on Facebook Live from Dylan Meislowick. You probably know him, Matt.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
He's watching us live today. He might be having his breakfast, actually. Usually he calls it breakfast with Ben.
Nice.
He said, outside sub-niching, what else do you contribute your growth on Instagram to?
Outside niching. Okay. So I'd say one of the biggest factors has been, actually, maybe not the biggest factor, but I would say just being absolutely genuine, like just being myself and showing my face, like making videos, even though, like Ben said, I've made lots of improvements in my speaking ability, in video taking, everything. Even though it's not perfect, maybe it's not the best, at least I'm showing my genuine self, and I'm trying to add as much value as possible. And I hope that has come across in the videos that I make and the posts that I do and the captions that I write. So I focus on every single little detail, and I try not to half-ass it. I always put my all into every little aspect of the things that I do. So that really has helped growth. And also, of course, engaging with other people. So about 5 minutes a day, I will go around to other posts.
Sorry, you're breaking up a wee bit, Matt.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Go
can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So also, one other aspect is going around every single day for about 5 to 10 minutes and comment on other people's posts, either through my feed or through hashtag searches. So by giving a genuine
Sorry,
comment.
Matt, you're breaking up a wee bit again.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll turn off my video for a second. Maybe not just through genuine comments. So not just saying like, hey, cool post, but actually adding value to that person's post by giving them a genuine, real comment.
Okay. And how often do you go out and do that? And also I have another question. What are the details? You've mentioned a few of them, but like what are, if you were to say like the 3 main details you keep an eye on, such as hashtags, is there like a strategy you use there? But the first question, I'll let you answer the first question actually.
So the 3 major aspects, is that what the question was?
Yeah, the 3 major aspects. And my other question was, how often do you comment on other people's posts? Is that something you do daily or?
Okay, yeah. So the 3 major aspects, like I was mentioning before, are actually showing my face and being the most genuine self that I could possibly be. Because like right now, I am being myself in this video. I never try to be fake, you know. I talk about what I love. I show my face, my expressions. I act like I would in normal life, right? Not just a face on social media, right?
Persona,
So 1,
like a
2 is
persona, yeah.
2 is focusing on the quality of my posts. So I pay attention to the detail of the descriptions. Oh, sorry. I pay attention to the detail of my descriptions, and I try to add as much value in those descriptions as possible. I never half-ass my content. Always trying to experiment as well.
Okay. Yep.
So I have noticed.
And I guess you get a lot of feedback on those experiments and then you double down on the ones that work.
Yeah, exactly. I pay attention to the analytics, and also, you know, sometimes when you post something on Instagram, it doesn't immediately get the engagement that you hope.
Okay.
You just have to push on, right? like not every
that video didn't work. Now go make another video. Let's try again.
Yeah, exactly. Like just because one post doesn't get the engagement that you want doesn't make it. So just keep on continuing, growing. And you asked about the engagement with people's posts. I do that every day for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad I asked that. Yeah, that was a tip that Gary Vaynerchuk talked about as well, like direct messaging or just going on to other people's profiles and leaving a detailed, quite relatable comment to the actual post.
Actually, I think I might have got that tip from Crush It.
Crush It, right? Yeah.
One thing that I noticed that has worked lately, that has worked very well, is actually sending people voice notes
Okay.
when they follow me or when they comment on something.
That's a good tip.
I might just go right straight into their DMs and just be like, "Oh, hey, this is Matt here. Thank you so much for becoming a BookMattic lifelong learner. And if you have any questions, let me know. Or maybe I will carry on a conversation with someone. We had a conversation through the comments. I'll bring it into the DMs. That way we can have more of a personal conversation, right? So that builds up some trust with that person, and then they can feel free and message me at any time.
Yeah.
It really does build up a good trust. So that's a big tip for you guys.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. And voice messages are very easy to send. You just hold the thing down and start talking. So I use them quite often on Instagram, just naturally, because I don't really like writing. So it makes it easier for me. The other question I think to add on to that, just very briefly, is do you have a content schedule? Do you plan to post every day, every second day, every week?
I do not have a solid schedule, but I like to post every other day. So
Okay.
I miss a little bit. So it might be every 3 days.
Okay.
But for sure it's every 3 days maximum.
Okay. Okay. And do you have a content schedule? Do you have like ideas that you create? Like, say you have an idea today on this call. Do you write that down? Do you do that, or do you act on inspiration?
Yeah, I keep all my notes in here.
Yeah.
All my planning in here. Also, I use Google Docs. So anytime an idea comes to me about content or about something else like a service or anything like that, I will immediately write it down in Google Docs, because I don't carry this around with me everywhere, but I do have my phone with me everywhere. So I have a specific doc created for Instagram. I have a specific doc created for other categories. I will go in there, I will add the idea, and then at a later date, whether it's a video or whether it's a post, I will do the video. If I have multiple ideas for videos, I will film it at one time. That way I don't have to film it at a later date.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice there. And then you'll drip feed them out.
Yeah, drip feed, because I'm not going to post one video right after another.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And will you have the description already written for the ones you drip feed, or will you have a scheduling tool, or is it, again, that's all manual?
Sometimes I'll write the description beforehand, but most of the time I'll write it right before posting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And do you put the comments, the hashtags in the comments? I could probably check your profile and see that. Do you put the hashtags in your comments, or do you put them in your post, and why?
Lately I have noticed in the past 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even more, the past month, I have noticed a major drop in hashtag reach.
Right.
And so I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. So I keep on experimenting with it. Sometimes I'll put the hashtags all in the post, other times I'll put them all in the comments, and other times I'll put them half. Some in the post, some in the comments. And I have not noticed which one works better. And that's kind of frustrating to me, because obviously I want to reach as many people as possible. And if the hashtag reach is really low, then what am I to do that to that?
Yeah.
So one thing I'm going to experiment on is maybe I will just use less hashtag and try to use it more relevant hashtags.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll use only like 15.
Okay.
And see how that works out.
I've tried that one as well. Yeah. I think that works. But okay, that's interesting. I think there's a wee lesson on Instagram. That was actually something I wanted to touch on as well, because your growth on Instagram is something I've pointed out before, and I think it's worth highlighting that and like breaking that down for other people who can listen and see how they can get a wee bit better Instagram success?
It's very surprising. I never expected really to gain that many followers, and
Okay.
I'm very grateful. I'm very very grateful for everyone who has followed. So it's just, I think you just need to be as natural as possible and not force it, you know?
Yeah. It's passion and it's your driving force. And I think for everyone listening, to summarize everything I've just heard about your Instagram success from your words, is you've got to love it, because you're putting in a lot of effort. Like the key word there is effort. Like it looks like you're putting in, and I can see it. You're putting a lot of time and effort, and if people are like, you have to be passionate to do that. So passion first, then the effort follows. But then there's got to be some discipline as well, because you're going the extra mile and looking at all the details and the analytics, and that's a part-time job.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should end it there. I don't know how long we went on because I've lost my time, but let's close it off there. But it was great chatting again, Matt, and I hope everyone who joins us and watches the replay, please leave a comment if you've got value from this and what you've learned. Follow Matt over on Instagram. His profile is really impressive, and you can connect with me. Probably best place to get me now is the Ben's Business Book Club. And keep up with the podcast. There'll be an audio version of this coming up soon as well on Apple and SoundCloud, and I'll send you that, Matt. But thanks for joining me, and thanks for everyone who watched this. So you can follow Matt at BookMattic, but you tell us your handles if you want.
Sure. Yeah, so you can reach me anywhere, mainly on Instagram, and it's BookMattic, spelled with 2 T's. So book, Mattic, BookMattic. There's also the website and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well. Yeah, thank you for writing that up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So definitely I try to put as much value into that as possible, like I was mentioning before. So yeah, just please follow and ask me if you have any sort of questions. I am almost always on Instagram. So if you send me a DM, I will answer it as soon as I can.
And there's another key, is being basically living and breathing it.
Yeah. I try to reply as fast as possible. So yeah.
I'm just checking to see if we've got anything else. I hope that was helpful, Dylan. And thanks for the comment. He's asking if you've done any paid boosts. Have you tried any paid boosts on Instagram before we go? We've got a question here.
What?
Paid boosts on Instagram.
Oh, paid. Okay, paid promotions. Yeah, I've tried 2 just for testing it out, just to see how it works. And because I'm in preparation for the launch of my online course. And so once that online course launches, I can do a little bit more paid promotion, because it reaches quite a bit of people who are actually following you, which is a very, very good. But you have to promote the correct post, the correct type of post. Scrolling through their feeds, they're going really quick. You need something that catches them, catches their interest, and does it very quickly. If you don't catch it first 2 seconds, they're gonna just keep on scrolling. So I've experimented with it just twice.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree with you on advertising. Basically, is you've got to grab their attention, keep their attention, and they don't know you, so they're like always questioning, who is this guy? So you've got to build a wee bit of do a bit of rhetoric and convince someone to listen to you as well. So good tip. Right, we're going to end this. Cheers again.
Okay.
Bye everyone.
Thank you.